We are live all of a sudden out of the blue. This thing took forever this morning to load. Right? So, morning everyone. So great to be connecting with you all. Really trusting that God will be close to you all this weekend and that you will have some amazing times together. But we're going to share about our amazing Women of Worth meeting that happened this morning. It's Saturday, 8th of June, and I have with me Tabitha. Morning, Tabitha.
Good morning, everybody. I'm sure you can see me nice in my pajamas, all warm and snuggly. Our WoW woman lady community decided to all pitch up in their gowns this morning. It was only Kenneth brave enough to get dressed and ready for the world. So it's just so phenomenal to have you guys here. And one thing that we always advocate for is show up no matter what. So I'm showing up even in my gown today. Okay, thank you, Kenneth. There we go. At least I don't feel alone today. Yeah, when you said, are we going live after our WoW session? I was like, well, we're going live either way. It doesn't matter what we look like. So thank you for suiting up with
Just,
me. Yeah, what a
just hold a
phenomenal.
second.
No. Okay, let's give Kenneth 5 minutes there. And I even
There we
have
go.
our Great Dane ambassador joining us here this morning, yeah, with us. So everyone's joining. Yeah, what a wonderful session this morning, Kenneth. And once again, just reflecting back, just what God is building, a place, a movement where people can come and just be raw, be open, be transparent. And part of our opening part of our sessions, there's this beautiful preamble that you've taught us all to read. And one of your biggest things in there is to say, this is a place of safety. This is what stands out for me. There's a place of safety. It's non-judgmental. You can come, say what you want. There's no judgment there. Another thing, it's a place of confidentiality, so you can be who you are, which I love. And then, obviously, one of your big things that you're advocating for 2024, which I always see over your head when I see you, is speak the damn truth. And that one's a bit challenging, right? I think everybody sort of like when you read that, everyone's like, oh, like, do I have to, But it's so profound because even this morning, one of the ladies was sharing and just saying, I'm working through my, codependency, pro-dependency issues, whichever way you want to term it. And she said, it's hard, She said to one of our amazing leaders, Bev, you've opened Pandora's box. I wake up in the morning and I don't know if I want to be angry with my husband, if I want to be happy with him. And just the beautiful thing about having this platform this morning that people can come and share on, she's able to say, guys, how do I process my emotions? Do I just pretend nothing's happening? Do I just ignore it? Do I pretend everything is normal? And then there were just so many beautiful ladies sharing this morning, telling her, you know what, get up, show up, tell your husband how you feel. And there were some great tools discussed this morning where people could speak about, fast sessions. We encouraging her to have fast sessions with her husband, and other ladies encouraging her to journal and just to speak about where she is and what she is doing. So that was my takeaway from this morning. It was just absolutely phenomenal as always. So Kenneth, I don't know how you felt about this morning, what your takeaway was.
Yes, I think it was an awesome session. Really loved it. Yeah, and especially the feedback. Tabitha, what's so amazing about doing this work for so many years? The lady that explained the fast session this morning, she explained it exactly the way that I would explain it to people. The fast session is
Mm,
part of the program. It's a simple communication technique, but I don't think I ever spoke to her about it, and she's doing it exactly the
mm,
right way. And normally, when we teach
mm,
people this stuff, they tend to change the principles in this specific tool, and then it waters down the levels of impact that the tool will bring. But she explained it perfectly right. And if I look at the specific couple, and I mean, you know them very well as well, it seems
mm,
like they're doing phenomenally well. They are flourishing in their recovery. They're rediscovering themselves.
mm,
He's dedicated. He's rock solid. He's moving forward. He makes mistakes, obviously. They have their conflict, but they're moving forward at an astounding pace, an amazing rate. And now I know why, because they do the things that we teach them exactly the way that we teach them. And that
mm.
is just so profound for me. And it's nice to see that the message gets communicated. I can't get to everybody anymore. There's too many people, but it's nice to see that there's sort of a living teaching thing that preserves the quality of the teachings and the trainings and the stuff that we
Mm.
have giving to the people. So that was something super, super exciting. Yeah, the other thing, I had a question. I did the Aris here interview this week, and someone asked me, "Why am I so hard on the men, Tabitha? What would you, how would you answer that on behalf of me? Like, do you think we're hard on the men? Like, and why are we hard on the men? And did I come across like I'm hard on the men in the Aris here on the road? So I'm opening myself a bit up for some positive criticism, yeah. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so big shout out to you on that. I even shared it on my WhatsApp status, and I'll be sharing it again today for all the people who missed it. So if you didn't get to see Kenneth, please go to the podcast. It's available, phenomenal material. Just super proud to say, yay, I know that guy. So yeah, hashtag I'm a friend of Kenneth. Let's start that movement. Such a profound question that you're asking, Kenneth. And I think, from my dealings with you, I've known you for over 20 years, and I know I know your heart, and I know how you do a lot of stuff. And personally, no, I don't think you're too hard on the men. I think you have the exact right measure to get them activated, I always call it, to say, you know what, because what you are doing is you want to raise up a generation of men that are saying, I will not stand for this in my home. I will not tolerate porn. I will not tolerate the acceptable social allowance of one porn video every year or there, or seen a half naked woman here or there. And to take a stand for that in a community, in a movement, in your home, there's no place for compromising. You understand? Why is society so fine to say people will not stand for, abuse in homes? They will not stand for women abuse. But you doing that, is that not a form of abuse? So when you stand up for something that's abusive, like, you can't be gentle about it and be like, oh, I'm sorry that your friends WhatsApp you your videos. It's so hard not to watch it because you don't want to leave your social circle. No, you have to say to these men, Nia, no more nonsense. You're not going to do this anymore. And that's where the hard approach has to come in. It's like when someone joins your program and you say, listen, are you committed to this for 5 years? They're like, oh, 5 years. And you're like, yes, dude, 5 years minimum. It's because you're putting a stand down and you're saying, you know what, this is how valuable you are, not just to yourself, but to your family, to God, to your wife, to your sons, to your daughters. And the thing is, that's why I feel your stance is definitely not hard. And I feel that when addiction has taken over a family, it doesn't just impact that man's life, it impacts his wife, it impacts his children, it impacts his work, it impacts his social standing. So when you're making a stand for that, you cannot be taking the kom ons lê nou en ek gaan jou hierdeur kry. Nee, it's about, listen, yeah, do you want to change your life? I know, I see potential in you, I see value in you, and that's why you take that approach. And I think you shared something very interesting a few sessions ago that we had with the ladies, where you were speaking about your experience of having dealt with addiction. Like, I think you can rectify me, but you were saying, the life cycle, I think you named it, when someone starts drugs, is about 7 years before they crash, and then they can stand up again. It's a 7-year progressive cycle. And then you mentioned with sexual addiction that it's 12 years before that
16.
person has that. 16, thank you.
Yes.
Before that person has that crash. So now just think to yourself, for 16 years, you've been going until you hit that rock bottom. And now you have to recover from that. So, I mean, that recovery is dedication. And the thing is, by putting out the hard cards for this individual, you're not, walking in circles and saying, oh, this is going to be so easy. You're saying to this guy, listen, this is going to be hard. But like you were speaking about that awesome, phenomenal couple a little bit earlier in our podcast, they both work in this program so hard for themselves, for their marriage, and for their future children. And that is priceless, So my stance, Kenneth, I'd say go harder.
Okay, yeah, I'll try. I love people. And it hurts my heart when people are like, oh, but you don't like men. Yeah, I love men, So I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
sexy. What's wrong with you? And I feel these things, and I had quite a few people feeling like that. But anyway, so yeah, we had a phenomenal meeting this morning. Anything else you'd like to say about the meeting this morning? I can't believe that so many people got up in this cold, but they did.
So I'll get to the meeting now. I just want to say to you, you know what, Kenneth, what you are doing, it's like that stone that someone throws and it ripples. You
Mm,
fighting for fathers that can't fight for themselves yet because they're stuck in
mm,
addiction. You fighting for children whose fathers are absent because addiction is stealing time from them. So, what you are doing is generational. And I think if people can have that perspective to understand what porn does to a family, what sexual addiction does to a family, they will be rooting and carrying you to the forefront of this movement, because what we are doing with the women, what you are doing with the men, is we are fighting for families, we are fighting for marriages, we are fighting for fathers to have relationships and intimate connections with their wives as well as their children, which means there will be a generation that will come forth that will be free of
mm,
porn, who will be free of sexual addiction, which means they will raise their families in an environment free from the slavery that people find themselves in, because it's a mental addiction. So, all I'm saying is, guys, what Kenneth is doing and what he's raising these men standard up to is he's fighting for generational freedom from porn and sexual addiction. So thank you for that, Kenneth. Thank you for making that stand and saying that I'm fighting for your wife, I'm fighting for your kids when you are not able to. And that's what your program does for men. It creates a platform of safety, it creates a platform of openness. And I want to say to the women out there that are saying, you know what, your addiction is your problem. No, your husband's addiction is not just his problem, it's your family's problem. And you're fighting for your husband, you're fighting for your children. So get on board, work on yourself, understand your worth, know that you are enough. And that just is in closing to the session. Why do we wake up at 5 o'clock on a Saturday morning, Kenneth, when we can be laying in bed, chilling, watching Netflix, having hot chocolate? We stand up because we're fighting for people's families, we're fighting for their marriages. We show up week on week, and people show up week on week because they know that by raising things to the light, we can heal those things, we can deal with those things. So my challenge this morning to everybody out there is keep on showing up. You are worth it. You are enough. Fight your fight. Do not give up. Your marriage is worth it. Your children are worth it. And most of all, you are worth it. So yeah, that's just my takeaway from this morning, Kenneth.
Awesome. Thanks, Tabitha. I hope you have a phenomenal weekend further, and yeah, that you will yeah, enjoy all the rest that you deserve. I know you've also had a tough week. So yeah, enjoy your weekend. If you're listening to this broadcast right now, please reach out. We are here to help and support you getting better, becoming the best version of yourself. But have a nice weekend, everyone. Cheerio.
Bye, Kenneth. Thank you, guys.